All right, you ready, dude?
Let's go.
In the high desert in the great American Southwest.
Welcome to Coast AM. John, welcome to the program. It's good to have you with us. You're with us.
Welcome back to Coast PM. My name is Paul here, as always, with my brother Chris.
What's going on, Paul?
Man, not much. Excited to be here today, though. Very excited.
Oh, yeah, baby. All conspiracy all the time.
Oh, you know it, man. And this is a show for any new listeners where we sit around and we talk about Coast to Coast AM.
Yes. In the PM. Even though they're talking about Coast to Coast PM. Wait, Coast to Coast AM. Mostly in the PM. I guess some of it is in the AM, though.
A lot of it actually is in the AM, depending on your time zone.
Yeah,
so because it's midnight to 4 Central. Yeah,
the AM actually refers to AM FM radio, right?
Yes. And RPM is because we record late at night. And also, this is the unofficial Coast to Coast podcast, the number one unofficial Coast to Coast podcast.
Number one unofficial Coast to Coast AM podcast.
We can't be beaten. Hey, Chris, we got a story to talk about today, and we are throwing it back to the archives of Art Bell.
Ooh,
former host.
I'm excited. I've never actually listened to Art Bell, so I'm excited to get a little taste.
We're going to be doing a little 1990s Art Bell, where he talks to none other than a satanic witch.
Oh, wow.
Oh, it's going to get weird today.
Oh, man. I bet it's going to get juicy.
Here's the thing. I'm very excited to hear your take on this, because as I've listened to this episode of Art Bell, and I've listened to it at least twice all the way through, and then a couple clips of it, I still can't decide whether or not this person's completely full of shit. So I want to hear what you think about this, because with Art Bell, it's like, you never know, like, is this just a grifter who's having fun? Or is this person a quack, or are they like that? You know what I mean? You never know.
Yeah. Well, having watched the movie with what's her name? Anna, whatever, the elf looking younger lady. The Witch. I believe it's by like Dave Edgars or something like that. Mm-hmm. Aren't all witches satanic?
Well, we're gonna get into that actually, because some wiccans are gonna call in. Some wiccans are gonna call in and have issues.
And they're more pagan than satanic.
Yeah, and here's what I learned, man: don't fuck with wiccans. Much like furries.
Yeah.
If there's a very intense subculture, just don't mess with them, man. Let them be.
Just don't mess with them.
Don't mess with them. They will.
So they get mad. They get mad at the Satan reference.
They do, and we'll get into that. But before we start, Chris, as always, we have to read an article from Coast to Coast AM's website by our good Tim Banal.
Yeah, dude, give me those Banal, dude, doing the Lord's work every freaking week. Dude.
This man pumps the articles out, and they are always subpar every time, and I love it. I love it.
All right, so what did Banal write about this week?
All right, are you ready for this? On Coast to Coast AM's website.
I haven't been ready either time. All right, so hit me with it.
Quote, dead, unquote, woman brings funeral to halt by banging on inside of casket for help.
The quotes are around undead?
Are around dead. So it's dead woman. Brings funeral to halt by banging on the inside of her casket for help.
Okay. All right. I'm with you. So we're at a funeral. There's a dead woman in the casket. Casket starts banging.
So mourners at a funeral in Peru were astounded when the woman being laid to rest at the service suddenly began banging on the inside of her casket in a frantic attempt to reveal that she was still alive. The shocking scene unfolded late last month in the city of Chiclayo. I apologize for just butchering that. After Rosa Isabel
butchered the shit out
Cespedes Calaca I have no idea how to say this name.
Oh, wow, dude.
That's
that
please,
was awful.
Please don't kill me. I realized that was bad. After Rosa had been involved in a terrible car crash that took the life of her brother-in-law and left her 3 children badly injured. At the time of the accident, doctors believe that she had also perished in the tragic event and that her family had set us out burying her the following day at the funeral that won't soon be forgotten by those in attendance.
Oh, my God. She wasn't actually dead, was she?
As her family and a sizable crowd of friends were paying respects to their departed loved one, they were taken aback when they heard a banging coming from the inside of the casket, insisting that something was amiss, as you probably would.
As the banging on the inside of the coffin suggests.
I love that they put that as if you had to insist something was wrong. Like there's banging from inside the casket. Like,
well, I don't know if this is normal.
This feels weird. So insisting that something was amiss, they demanded that the funeral director open the closed coffin, which is when he discovered that the dead woman had opened her eyes and was actually still alive.
Oh my God. Dude, I will say that if I was at a funeral and the person was alive in the casket, I would pee my pants.
That would be terrifying.
I would actually pee my pants.
Dude, oh, and just the way this is written too, where it's like they had to insist and force the funeral director to open the casket. Like he's gonna be like, nah, it's cool, man. This happens all the time.
I have a feeling that Mr. Banal has learned to be quite the dramatic writer over his years at Coast to Coast AM.
I would feign to call this any sort of journalism. This is very much a college creative writers course. It feels like, too many adverbs is all I'm going to say. Understandably outraged by the oversight, the family is now demanding answers from the hospital where she had been declared dead. She had been rushed to a hospital after she was found to be alive and put on life support, but sadly she passed away a short time later. Particularly troubling to them. This is actually really messed up. So particularly troubling to them is that based on what occurred at her funeral, it would seem that she had slipped into a coma following the car accident and that doctors may have been able to save her life had they realized this before making the judgment that she passed away. To that end,
it had been like 24 hours at least of no medical care.
She had been just sitting inside a coffin. Like,
dude,
awful.
For real though, this is definitely giving me pro-wake vibes, or like, you know, the Jewish have sitting Shiva, right? Like, there's a reason why these things happened, was because like this happens, right? And like before medical technology was like abundant, and apparently in Peru too, like you could totally go into like a coma, or like people would get too drunk and you would think they were dead, and then you would bury them, and then for whatever reason, you know, they would like open up the coffin later and see like scratch marks and stuff. I mean, I've read things that like in Ireland, it had gotten so prevalent that they would actually put like a string on a person's coffin attached to a bell so that like they could dig up the body quickly. And it's just, this is crazy. This is happening in the 21st century.
Still happening apparently. So be careful whenever you're at your next funeral, because the person may still be kicking.
Dude, make sure in your will you set up a wake, a 24-hour Shiva, or whatever your religion details as making sure that your ass is dead.
Well, that's why in my will, it just says put a bullet in me before you bury me. Just a double tap, a quick double tap. Make sure I'm down.
Make it silver, stake in the heart, whatever you got to do.
Dude, I'm not trying to come back as a zombie. You never know what can happen.
Right.
So,
all right. So the lesson learned, don't die in Peru.
Don't die in Peru.
Or don't get a coma in Peru, because they will bury your ass.
Yep. That is a dangerous place to be unconscious, apparently. So lesson learned for all of us.
That one was the darkest one you've given us so far, Paul.
That one was. There were a couple more lighthearted ones, but they were mostly about ghosts, and I felt like we had to mix it up and bring in some zombies.
That's interesting that one made the Coast to Coast AM cut, dude, because it's not exactly paranormal.
I don't understand what this Tim Banal guy writes about, because it's like you'll have like ghost caught on webcam, and then he'll have tornado in Kansas destroys house. Like that's it's just like a very strange array of things. And not all of them are paranormal, and not all of them have anything to do with anything. Honestly, some of them are just like random stories that he seemed to have liked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, how much can you actually write about? Like, I have a feeling that Mr. Banal is receiving a lot of emails, right? And like, that's what he ends up writing about, is whatever somebody emailed him or tweeted at him or whatever. Like, look at this crazy story.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because like, how does he find out about this random city in Peru unless somebody emailed it to him?
Yeah. It's probably
some kind of Coast to Coast AM listener or something like that.
I don't know. Maybe we can invite him on the podcast for an interview. We'll see.
Yeah,
We'll
dude.
see.
Speaking of which, did we ever hear from our was it John Rhodes? Did he ever get back to us?
So Mr. Rhodes, I did reach out to him with a couple of our questions.
Couple of our lizard questions.
Some of our lizard man questions, our reptoid questions, to his dedicated email address that he has. Now here's the problem, because he hasn't responded to me. And
he hasn't responded.
He hasn't responded.
He's scared, dude.
I used the dedicated email address for reporting reptoid sightings, so he may be mad that I used the wrong email address.
You used the wrong, so it actually was your bad.
It's probably my bad, but he doesn't have another one listed. This is the only way he can contact him.
Oh, okay.
So we'll see. But hopefully
maybe
we'll hear back.
Maybe he's just busy. He has a couple of conferences. It's summertime. People are getting out. He's under the hollow earth because he's actually a reptoid.
Well, so that's probably the most likely. He also put on the website that he can't respond to all inquiries because of the vast amount of public interest in this topic. So he's just so popular.
Dude, if John Rhodes doesn't message us back about the myriad of questions that we had about reptoid society, I will be disappointed.
The politics of reptoid civilization is very important, and not one I can find discussing.
Dude.
It
was not fleshed out. I need answers to questions that I have.
Yeah.
But that's another story. If Mr. Rhodes ever answers us, we will let you guys know first.
We will keep you updated. We will break the news on reptoid society and politics right here on this feed. But Chris, I think it's probably about time to jump into the Art Bell archives.
Mr. Art Bell, dude, you don't know how excited I am for this, man. I've never listened to him, but the way you've talked him up, I'm very excited.
I love Art Bell more than anything on this planet, and it's just the way that he navigates open lines is just like he was such a pro. He's such a pro. But
to be fair, he had to become a pro, right? I mean, just hours upon hours of practice. I mean, that the man didn't have a screener.
No call screener
is impressive.
Yeah. And to share that again, because I know we discussed it previously, but Art Bell, when he was running his show initially, he did not have anyone to screen the calls before he brought them on air. So he would just answer the line, and whoever picked up was on the radio. There's no one to be like, this is a quack. This is a crazy person. So he gets a lot of interesting folks calling in. But Chris, you know what? I actually have a little taste for you just so that you can get the vibe of Art Bell, right?
Dude, I love little snacks.
I want
a little Art Bell snack.
Hear his intro, because I think it's a fun intro.
Little ants on a log.
Exactly.
From the high desert and the great American Southwest, I bid you all good evening or good morning, as the case may be, across all these many, many, many time zones, stretching from the Pacific, where the Hawaiian Islands the Tahitian island chains.
This just make you feel like
languish in
partying.
the sun and the trade winds.
Feel like dancing.
All the way east
What?
to the Caribbean and
What?
the U.S. Virgin Islands, south into South America, north, all the way to Santa Country at the pole. This is Coast to Coast AM. I'm Art Bell. Great to be here.
Dude, that
King.
was dope.
Isn't he awesome?
That was dope.
That's him all the time. That's not just like Art Bell, like sounding good. Like he is just awesome.
Just on it 24/7.
He is on it, man. And in this particular episode, this is a bit of a weird one. It's also a bit of a classic, kind of a cult classic.
Yeah,
the
this
Art
is
Bell
this is
community.
a coast to coast AM classic, huh?
It is. This is Harlot the Witch, a very
Harlot the
well
Witch.
known story in Art Bell lore.
Okay.
So I'll let Art introduce how we got into contact with this witch.
Isn't a harlot a prostitute?
Yes, it's Harlot the Witch. Her name
Oh
is
my
Harlot.
God.
That's her witch
Oh,
name, at least.
That's her witch name.
That's her
Okay.
witch name.
Got it.
Yeah.
All right, I'm in, dude. Art's about to give me some satanic witch juice.
Yes, exactly.
Hi, Mr. Bell. I am 32 years old.
This is a fax that he received from the witch. So he's reading off the facts right now.
My coven
Dude,
name
witches
is
have to use
Harlot.
faxes?
I am a
Yes.
witch of the most unholy kind. I am by no means a goddess. I use no crystal balls, tricks, nor treats.
No
I am from a
tricks or
long
treats.
line of witches and warlocks and so on. If you'd like to call me, she supplies the number. The Coven of the Unholy. Hail Satan. Now let me say, Art, I am a good witch by no means. Even if I do something that someone would consider good, I do with evil in my heart. Hail Satan.
Spooky.
I know the messages and things that Art Bell and George Norrie have had to receive over the years. I bet that didn't even make the top 10 for Art Bell, the strangest things he's ever received. But
The
it is
Art fax machine.
it is awesome that a witch would fax that to Art Bell. I mean, just out of the millions of ways you could receive a message, dude, I mean, a fax is easily the lamest one.
Dude, well, I mean, this was the time though, man. This was like pre-email. He's
You're right.
constantly
Yeah,
talking.
we're in the 90s, right?
We're in the
We're
90s.
in the 90s.
And,
so,
and you have to
okay, take
remember
me
who's
back.
listening, right? Who's his listener base? They
Right.
are not people who were early adopters to PCs. So,
Yeah, right,
and he constantly
right.
mentions that. He's like, the majority of my listeners don't have internet and don't have computers.
They're
So, like,
listening to AM radio.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
They couldn't even adopt FM radio.
No, FM was too much, man. You can't.
That was a
can't do
step
that.
too far.
Yeah.
All
So,
right, I gotta know more.
well, here's just a little tidbit where Art discusses his standards of how he, journalistically approaches who to bring on the air, right? 'Cause this is, kind of an interesting
okay.
one.
So
right?
we're learning a little bit about Art's process.
Yeah, how does Art manage, a witch reaching out to him? Does he put it on?
Satanic witch.
A satanic witch.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, you guys know me. I will put anything on the air. And that includes Malachi Martin, Catholic priests, people of the cloth, people of the church, and people not of the church, and many things in between.
Spooky. Art Bell don't give a
Yes.
fuck, dude.
Yeah. That's pretty much what he's saying. He's like, all I want to do is make good radio.
Yeah.
And Paul, you're definitely right. The man's got a voice for radio.
Oh, it's
I mean,
so
it's
good.
incredible.
It's so
It's
good.
incredible.
And
I
that's-
could listen to this voice forever.
And the thing too is that, going back and listening to, old AM radio from the 90s, not always the best quality, but even with poor quality, you still feel it, man. Like it's just this like smoky smooth, like
I'm captivated by Art, dude.
he's
for
just
sure.
sitting there smoking a cigarette in a cave alone.
No doubt, dude.
Yeah.
He's multiple glasses of scotch.
Oh yeah. Hanging out.
All right, so we're about to talk to Harlot.
So we're going to talk to Harlot. Number one, we got to start with, why are you called Harlot, right?
Yeah.
What's up with that?
How did you get your name Harlot?
I got my name Harlot because of how I live and what I do. I go around and I spread webs of deceit, and I adore myself in a very alluring fashion when I do these things. And I take great pleasure in finding a victim, laying my evil eyes upon him and bringing him into sinful joy. And if you go back into your scriptures and search them out, and especially in the Old Testament, a woman of my type would be called a harlot.
So she's banging these dudes.
She's banging dudes. That's her.
She's banging dudes, and that's why she's a witch.
That's her thing, is that she bangs a bunch of dudes.
That's kind of like very Aleister Crowley, right? Sex magic.
Honestly, in a way, she kind of is, because she doesn't seem to do much besides, like, she'll talk about this in a bit, but like break up families, like lure guys out, and be kind of like mean to people. Seems to be a lot of what she's into. But
she's just a bad person,
just kind of an asshole. But she loves Satan, is the thing. She loves Satan a lot.
Okay, all right.
And her family's been doing this, Chris, for a long time.
My family been.
What I am, Art, is a satanic fourth generation birth witch. I am practicing an art and a faith that has been passed down through my family for generations. And all I can say to them is, if they don't think I'm a witch, well, that's their prerogative, and
Been doing this for a while. The whole family does.
To be fair, 4 generations of witchery is actually not that far back.
Yeah.
I mean, that's 80 years.
Which
at the most. And I almost guarantee you she's counting herself. So it's really only 60 years. So that would be like in the 1940s. Well, now 1960s.
Which I think is a great debunking aspect, because here in a moment she's going to talk about how this traces back to the pioneers, Chris. And how her family's been doing this in the
90s. This is in the 90s.
She's in the 90s right now, yeah.
All right. So it would have been like the 30s.
Yeah. Were there a lot of pioneers in the 30s?
I don't think
had we settled most of America by then?
I think most of America was settled by the 30s. I could be wrong. I did go to public school.
So we'll get to that. Put a pin in that though, because you're on a good train of thought here about why this her story doesn't quite add up.
I'm already skeptical of Harlot the Satanic Witch.
Yeah. So here's the thing about Harlot, dude. She hates Wiccans. She hates them.
All right.
And
I gotta hear this.
And this is just a little taste of the entire radio show where she's constantly bitching about Wiccans, like nonstop.
Those who
actually really hates Wiccans.
Yeah, she really hates Wiccans, like a lot.
Okay.
And she wants to straight up brawl with them.
Are the first to step forward and say, based on what you wrote here, you're certainly not a witch. And what do you say about the Wiccans?
Well, I'm not surprised. I have encountered many of them here where I live, and I've encountered them everywhere. And the thing that I find interesting about it is that once the topics have come up and once it becomes an open discussion, I'm always left standing alone. And I always get these little word-of-mouth things coming back from them, passed to this person.
That witch gossip, dude. You got to watch out for the witch gossip.
It seems to me I can't find one that's...
Call toll free.
So here, the way that live radio works is if someone says something bad, like a curse word that'll get you fined, there's a delay.
Right.
So the person running it clicks a button and then it like bleeps over it with like some pre-recorded track. So what just happened there is that
she starts cursing because she hates the Wiccans so bad.
She used her real name is the problem.
Oh.
And Art was like, you said that you didn't want to use your real name.
Right. Wow, dude. Art responsible.
He's very responsible as a host. So she ends up not caring because she's like, you know what, bitches, come at me. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Wow. So she's saying, okay, go.
Witch.
Okay, I just hit the button because you used your first name.
I don't care anymore.
Oh, you don't care?
I don't care anymore.
You don't care?
I don't care. You can use my first name.
Really? All right.
Let's go with it.
I bleeped it, so let's unbleep it. Your name is Patsy.
Exactly.
Patsy the Witch.
Patsy the Witch, coming from generations of Everybody.
Yep. Patsy.
Perfect.
That's
Oh my
what
God.
that's what they named her.
Where does one run into wiccans all the time? I guess if you're a witch, it's probably a little bit more common, but I feel like I'm not running into wiccans everywhere.
Just kind of running into those circles, I guess. I don't know. I don't know a single Wiccan is the thing.
Or maybe I know tons of wiccans. They're just not very upfront about it.
That may be it as well. It's kind of hard
Yeah.
to tell. Kind of hard to tell.
Yes. All right, give me the next one, baby.
All right, so we have Patsy the Witch.
Patsy Harlot the Witch.
Now, Chris,
Satanic Witch.
Satanic Witch. And what
She hates wiccans and is ready to go to war with them.
Exactly. And Chris, let me ask you this. What is the most evil city that you can think of? Like if there's an evil Satan worshiping witch, where would they go?
I would imagine, well, ooh, dude, that's a good question. I would say probably either New York City, LA, or Las Vegas.
You would think something like that, right?
Something like that where like this sin is rampant.
Yeah. Well, she's not. She's
It's like
in
in Milwaukee or something, huh?
Salt Lake City.
I saw that. No, dude. That's a good next pick, dude.
Salt Lake City.
Those Mormons get weird, dude. And
What,
I bet she
pray
just
tell,
preys on Mormons.
She preys on them.
are you doing there?
What
in
is
Salt
she
Lake,
doing
that
in
is?
Salt Lake?
Well, I came here, first of all, Art, I came here right about the latter part of 1989. I came here with a purpose, and that purpose was to deceive and to lead astray as many as I could. And I have for years, even through my childhood, reacted very strongly between issues considering God, heaven, Satan, hell. I am a full-fledged, totally devoted individual, a woman who serves Satan in her heart, and I take absolutely no regard for people's lives when it comes to me handing them pretty much on a silver platter straight to Satan and take them straight to hell.
Good Lord.
Good
Dude,
Lord.
dude, this chick is awesome, dude.
She is wild.
She is wild, dude.
She is wild.
And to be fair, dude, the Mormons are, I bet, particularly easy to prey upon.
Yeah, I think that they probably are. Because I think they're also very sheltered. But yeah, so and I think they're also very.
If she showed too much ankle on the street, she just tempted 15 Mormons, dude. I mean, it's got to be easy work.
Well, and her whole thing is that she wants to break up families, right? And I feel like you have to get bonus points the more children they have. So like it's like the most, the more kids, the more damage there is.
The more wives, the more
exactly.
the more damage is done.
I apologize to
One
any Mormon listeners.
One monogamous wife, dude, that's something. But 4 polygamous wives, no, that's real work. That's real work that you have to do.
It would be.
Sorry to all of our Salt Lake City Mormon listeners out there.
We love each and every one of you.
Listen, if you're a Mormon listening to this, like, you're already down a bad path.
You should turn this off.
Harlot the Witch already did her work.
Really screwing with you at this
All right,
point.
I need more. All
right,
Harlot.
so now we're gonna get into like, how do you define Satan? Like, let's make sure that we are defining our terms here.
Yeah, this is not LaVeyan Satanism.
Yeah,
right?
This is not Anton LaVey.
She is talking about the real Satan and believes in a real hell and stuff.
Yes, she is. She's taking all this very literally.
Yeah, very
Who
literal.
is Satan, Harlot?
Satan was one of the greatest of all angels in the kingdom of heaven at that time. Oh, son of the morning, if you will.
Oh.
We believe that the reason
son of
Satan was punished was because of the simple fact he had awakened himself to God's plan. If you go through your scriptures and you find out in the beginning with Adam and Eve and so forth and so on, their eyes were pretty much closed, only opened to what God wanted them to see at that point. And at that time, Satan decided that that was not right. Why close the eyes of human beings? Why not let the human race know good and evil? Let the human race begin to gain knowledge.
All right. I mean, nothing out too far out of the ordinary there. I mean, she's essentially following like old Catholic tradition and mythology, right?
Which is what I think is interesting, because she seems to be living inside of the purely Christian perspective of what a Satanist is.
Right.
And
yeah,
that's
just,
kind of,
go ahead.
no, that's just kind of what makes me feel like this is bullshit, is because she
Right.
seems to be just feeding back all of the like evangelical or potentially like Catholic propaganda, and has not expanded on it in any way.
Right. Yeah. She's probably taken some Divine Comedy, has taken some Paradise Lost, some old Catholic traditions, and is like, now this is my thing.
Yeah, now I'm just the bad guy in this story, right? I'm
Right.
Lord Voldemort. And you guys are Harry Potter. But the thing about this, because she does believe in a literal Satan, she also believes in a literal hell. So she is looking forward to going to hell and thinks it's going to be a really nice time for her, naturally.
Yeah. This is like if Constantine wanted to go to hell.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, cool.
However,
You describe hell as eternal damnation.
Mm-hmm.
How can you possibly, if I want to try to understand the psychology, how can you possibly look forward to that?
Well, I choose to live by my human nature. And if my human nature is an abomination unto God, if I choose to live what in a biblical sense would be termed sinful, and if I live a sinful life, then I go to hell, well, I would rather go to hell with honor than go to hell out of ignorance.
So she's thinking she's going to get like a gold star of sinning.
Yeah, but the thing is, she still thinks that she's going to be tortured for eternity.
Right.
Which,
that is kind of wild.
But she's going knowing what it is versus people who don't know what they're doing.
Right, right. You're just an evil person and you think you're going to heaven. She is an evil person and she knows she's going to hell.
Exactly. And
fascinating.
She talks a lot about how she likes Christians more than Wiccans, because Christians speak the same language and they're all both on the same terms.
Right,
where it's
right,
like,
right. Yeah.
You are going to be a good person, go to heaven. I'm going to be a bad person, go to hell. We understand each other.
Right.
And she's like, Wiccans think what they're doing is good and fine, but it's actually bad. And that's why they suck more than Christians, which is interesting.
That's interesting. That's an interesting perspective. But the Wiccans are going to hell too, right?
Yes, the Wiccans are going to hell more out of ignorance.
Right. Yeah. Okay.
But they're not embracing the fact that what they're doing is evil.
This is fascinating lore. I need more.
It's really interesting lore. So we're going to dive into when she found out she was a witch, right? Origin story time here.
Origin story.
You
got bit by a spider, a nuclear spider.
Yes, a black widow spider.
Oh, nice.
How did all of this manifest? How early did you know?
I knew there was something wrong. I was a child that when I would go out and work in the fields and I would help my parents in different things, I despised sunlight. It wasn't so much because of the heat, it was what it was doing to me. I began to, as a child, without even having full knowledge of Scripture, look up at the sky and curse God for having the sun so bright. I would seek shade. I would seek to lurk in shadows.
This woman had a skin condition and was like, oh, I'm a witch.
That's apparently how it started. Maybe she was just a ginger, which, to be fair, soulless, unsure.
Daywalkers, for
sure.
Daywalkers. They can trick you.
So, yeah, that's how it started.
Fascinating.
Then she goes into how one day she just drew a pentagram for no reason, and then predicted that her dad would be late from work.
Wow.
So very witchy vibes, apparently, is what this gave everyone.
The pentagram was what led her to know that her dad would be late?
Uncertain.
Okay.
Very uncertain.
Just give it to me. I want to hear it directly from her.
I told my mother that my father would be arriving late.
So what happened was that she went out into the farm, drew a pentagram on the ground, stood in the middle, walked inside, and then told Mom, Dad's going to be late.
Dad's going to be late.
Yeah.
And he had some business to tend to and different things that go on downtown, way down the road, believe me, and that he would be late concerning issues concerning what he was doing at the time with the farm and different aspects of business. Well, my mom looked at me kind of, did you talk to your dad before he went to work? This was the summertime. I wasn't in school. And I said, no, Mom, I haven't seen Dad since last night when he hugged me around at the supper table to go to bed. Well, my dad got home at pretty much the exact time that I had told my mother. And I heard my mom ask my father about these things. And my dad told her, that is impossible. How did you know? He didn't even call. Or he didn't even call. She said, Patsy came in here and told me. Well, it got quiet in the kitchen. Well, I found myself 2 days later getting my bags packed and sent off to my grandmother's house.
And this was at what age?
13 at this time.
13.
Right, I was 13 at this time, right.
And this was only because you had predicted your dad would be home late?
Art's like, dude, what?
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 No.
They sent you away because you said your dad was going to be late?
Like,
it was the pentagram, actually. It was the parents found the pentagram.
All I'm going to say, dude, is like if a kid randomly says dad's going to be home late and you're like, yeah, whatever. And then he's home late that day and you ship him or her away.
Yeah.
You're a dick.
Yeah. That's wild.
Wild.
That's a real Mormon thing to do.
Like, I just don't understand. I think she was hoping for more of a bang from that story than I think she actually gave us. Because she's like, no, he was at work and it was really far away and he was doing all these business things. And I was like, he's going to be late. And then he was late. It's like, okay.
It's like, how late was he?
Yeah. Oh,
like 5 minutes? An hour?
Oh, you ask her and she'll tell you that he was late for sure.
Yeah.
So that was how she discovered she was a witch. She didn't like sunlight. She drew
wait, but earlier, didn't she tell us that she comes from generations of witches?
Yes. Another gap in the story, because why did your mom not immediately just like be down for this, right?
It skips a generation. It's like male pattern baldness.
Which would actually, that would add up because when she said 4 generations back, that's actually 8. Because it's double.
So we're further back. We're further back. Yeah. Okay. All right.
We go all the way back, Chris, to the pioneer times.
Yeah. So the witchiness is like baldness in men.
Yes, it is the exact same thing.
The genetic markers can skip a generation on the matrilineal line.
There is inherently no difference as far as I can tell.
Okay.
The other thing is that this does go back to the pioneer days, but she will not give specifics, Chris.
No, I can't tell you anything for sure.
I can't tell you dates. I can't tell you locations. I can't tell you names for obvious reasons.
Right. For obvious reasons, except she's Patsy.
Except she's Patsy. That's
and those Wiccans can come after me if they want.
No, and then at one point, she starts trying to give her address out live on air, and Art has to stop her.
Art's like, please, God.
She's like, I'm within a block of the church in Salt Lake City. Come find me.
Yeah.
I'm Patsy. And Art's like, stop trying to give your address out to the Wiccans. You can't do that on air. So let's get into the family story though, right?
Yeah.
Pioneer days. All right. Pioneer cap. You're in your wagon.
Generations of witches, satanic witches. Okay.
Oregon Trail, baby. Oregon Trail.
All right, cool.
We had a segment of our family off of my mother's side that were pioneers, if you will, in their own right. They traveled a lot and
if you will,
different things, and it came to a point in time where things were just not going so well. they running out of food and different things. And
Yeah, you mentioned starvation.
right, they came to a point to where it was virtually death was beginning, as illnesses were beginning to set in. One of the members decided, the hell with it, and called upon the devil. They virtually, in pure blood, made an agreement that if they would continue and to bring forth a bloodline of witches and warlocks and so on, that Satan would provide them with their needs.
Satan would give them food.
Yes. They had to sell the next 8 generations of people,
Yeah,
so that they could get a cheeseburger.
yeah. So they could get a deer would come across their path and they could shoot it down. Dang, dude, that's got to be like the cheapest the devil ever bought like a few generations of family. Dude, it's got to be really on the like a bowl of rice. What can I get for a bowl of rice?
You send a
And
squirrel
they're
into
like,
the
8
camp.
generations. We'll do 8 generations for a bowl of rice.
Forever.
Yeah.
You get all the
You
family.
get all of
You get
them.
everyone.
You get all of them.
And have you seen a family tree, Chris? Do you know how many people are related to that one pioneer by now?
It's incredible.
That's a lot of people that Satan bought.
It's so many people. It's most of Salt Lake City.
Well, it feels like she's trying to do like a Donner Party throwback, but she's
Definitely.
but we didn't have to eat people because we sold our soul to Satan.
We sold our soul to Satan.
So that's how she became a witch, apparently. But
Or
for
a bowl
some
of
reason, even though it's on her mother's side, her mom doesn't get it.
No, she has no idea.
So male pattern baldness, I guess, is the only answer.
I think I'm liking my that it jumps a generation.
Honestly, I think that's probably the closest thing we're gonna get to an answer there.
It's genetic.
And at this point, I believe we start getting to some write-in questions. So back in the day, you could fax art questions to ask the guest, right?
So he was pretty open on who was going to be on for the next few days.
Yeah, or while the show's going on, you would actually fax it in.
Oh,
Yeah, so you could fax or email it in. Nowadays, you can text. You can text George Norrie live on air, and he'll be like, "Someone just texted me this question," and then
somebody just texted a question.
Listen, Coast to Coast is all about interactivity with the audience.
dude.
All right,
I mean, that's what gives you the gold, though.
that's why we listen.
This is a 2 a.m. question.
Exactly.
There's
So
nothing better than that.
the number one question that they're getting: are Mormons satanic? Is that why you're there?
Is that why you're there?
Which it's what we're all thinking right now.
That's what I'm thinking.
Right.
That's what I'm thinking. Or
Since
that they're so
much
godly. But go
That's
ahead.
the other option.
of established Christianity considers Mormonism to be a cult, and its adherents already on the wrong path. Why are you in Salt Lake City? Is there a connection between your master and Mormonism?
I think that a lot of the LDS faith is dead accurate. When I came here, I came into a situation to where I lived with LDS people. I came here with nothing, Mr. Bell. I came here to prove how an evil person can go into a society, embed themselves into the working order of that society, and use and take total advantage to get what I needed to sustain myself.
So
okay.
in
So
the
she
end,
thinks the LDS, she's down with Adam Smith fighting the Garden of Eden and the Golden Tablets, and the Jews came over in the 2,000 years ago and set up a rival civilization in North America. She's like dead on balls accurate.
apparently the Mormons are getting a lot of stuff right, according to
Mostly
this satanic witch.
right. Yeah, Satan hates the Mormons more than any other Christian religion because they got it right.
That, I mean, it tracks, right? It tracks.
I'm following. I am so in love with Harlot
Yeah.
right now, dude. This is incredible.
And that's the thing that she talks a lot about is the fact that she will like join churches and like live with LDS people if it means that she'll have a job and she'll have like housing and stuff like that.
Right.
But the trick is that she always has ill intent. So she's always wanting. Or
She's
looking for
just a
way.
material girl, and this is a material world.
She's just out there thriving, man. She's thriving.
Right.
So we're gonna get to some callers, right? We gotta hear what our callers think.
I can't wait.
Because the Coast to Coast crew have some things to say.
Mostly negative, I'm guessing.
Some negative, some positive.
Some positive. Some are like, I'm kind of into the Satan thing.
It's kind of cool. It's
like
funny.
the Satan thing.
The most negatives come from the Wiccans. The most positive comes from the Christians. So
they're like, thank you for going after those Mormons. You're doing the Lord's work.
This first caller though, I'm just not gonna even intro this. I'm just gonna let you.
Give it to me.
We're just gonna roll in.
Okay.
Well, I believe in a God. I believe he is an extraterrestrial. What is your thoughts on that?
I believe that we're all descendants from beings of a higher power.
Okay, one more
And
question.
they are alien in essence. Yes, sir.
Okay, one more question. Do you believe Clinton is the Antichrist?
I believe that President Clinton is doing what President Clinton should be doing at this time, sir. Exactly. I think that destiny lives itself out, and I believe that Clinton and all the presidents, as far as you can go back, has done their little deeds, have done their little part in establishing what we have today and what's coming in the future.
What back-to-back questions, dude?
Is
That's
God an extraterrestrial?
incredible.
Is Bill Clinton the Antichrist?
That's gold, dude. Well, it's good to know that like people have always thought that presidents were the Antichrist.
Yeah,
That's
they
just
really have.
That's bread and butter stuff for America, dude.
Yeah, and the theories have evolved because it was Bill Clinton, and then it got moved to Hillary Clinton for a while,
Right.
And then now I think we're back on Barack Obama. Recently, I was seeing
Back to being the Antichrist.
Yeah, so we're kind of just floating around, but yeah, it's just
Joe
Only
Biden Joe Biden doesn't have enough virility to be the Antichrist. Everyone's like, yo, the Antichrist would not just be eating ice cream and like passing out in the middle of a speech. It's not a very inspiring Antichrist.
No one's buying that he's the Antichrist.
Nobody's
for
buying
sure.
that. Nobody's
For sure.
buying that. Interesting answer on the part that she was like, they're upholding their destiny.
I was a little annoyed by that because it felt like a giant cop out. Well, yeah, he's doing what he needs to be doing right now.
It almost sounds like she's a Democrat.
I think she may be. I think she's trying to hide it.
Pro Clinton satanic witch living in Salt Lake City, Utah.
She's gonna go on a rant.
I like most of Bill Clinton's policies.
Listen, NAFTA honestly was a really good idea.
A great idea. Oh, I love seeing open trade. And I'm glad that he's gotten rid of the welfare state.
Listen, the globalized future, okay? So
all right,
Bill Clinton
okay.
fan,
Points off there. Not very good.
God's an extraterrestrial, I guess. I don't really follow
the guy
that.
calling in gets more points because of the back-to-back amazingness of those questions.
Just the incredible lack of context. Next question: is Bill Clinton the Antichrist? No intro. Just drops it on us. Maniac. Fucking maniac.
I love it, dude.
All right, so this next one,
man.
this next one, baby,
more.
we get a Wiccan calling in.
Yes.
A lot of Wiccans tonight. A lot of Wiccans.
Oh, dude, it's like the dragon, guys. Once you get on the dragon,
you can't stop.
She called him out, dude. She called him out.
Dude.
She knew. She was like, Art, I'm about to give you the best radio you've had all week.
She targeted them, dude.
Screw the Wiccans.
Bunch of bitches, those Wiccans. Your magic sucks.
Stupid magic. All right, I gotta hear it. Go.
Let's go to the Wiccans. I love these Wiccans. They're really nice.
Well, I'm not talking about a church. See, I'm a practicing Wiccan.
Oh goodness! Would you please come visit me? Can I give you my address? I would like to see you,
and
sir.
What you are doing is trying to flame the fires of the Inquisition again. That's all you're trying to do.
What, are you afraid of retribution? Are you afraid of retribution for your acts? I'm not.
My acts aren't evil.
We're still witchcraft.
Witchcraft is not evil.
Oh, okay. All righty then. You see, I run into this all the time. You know, sir, get some backbone. Accept the reality of what you're doing is not godly. Okay? Please do.
I'm not talking about God
But sir,
here.
I hope in the end that you don't.
So, Lil Wiccan's got a little bit of a beef.
Yeah, he's got some beef. Though, to be fair to Harlot, I think she is right. Witchcraft is definitely dark-sided.
Yeah. I mean, probably. I guess. I don't know.
I mean, I don't know if there's any good magic, biblically speaking.
Well, if we are going from a purely biblical perspective, then yes, that would be correct.
That's
now,
the only perspective I go from.
Okay, whatever. Wiccans do not function from that perspective. To them, magic is an energy derived from nature that they can help harness.
Right.
So therefore, it's not inherently evil.
There's probably good magic and bad magic, right? Just like anything, it's the tool, it's the user of the tool, not the tool that is evil, right?
Yeah, guns don't kill people; people kill people. Chris.
Exactly. Thank you. Thank you.
Same thing as magic. Same thing.
Same thing as magic.
We need licenses for magic. I don't know why all these Wiccans running around getting to do curses.
Right.
We get increasingly intense in terms of our rhetoric. So we have a Christian call in, and Patsy kind of talks about how she would behave if this were the war, if this were the end times, and what kind of fate that he would see.
He said, pray what?
Because it is my mission to do so, I do pray for you, regardless of what you want.
And sir, let me tell you, it won't happen now. I mean, it will not happen now, sir. You are my enemy. And if this was the day of the apocalypse right now and everything began, I would behead you.
Dude, she's just a 90s troll. I mean, that's really all she is. She's just like a pre-internet troll.
She's doing something. She's doing something.
I mean, that's all the real sense that I'm getting. And like, for whatever reason, she's decided to pick on the Wiccans, which is like a weird subgroup to go after.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be like, specifically going after the Frank the horse. What was it? What was the horseman's name?
Jason the horse.
Jason the horse. It's like going after the Animorphs.
Yeah.
Right? Like, why? Why go after them? Or what were their other kin?
Other kin, yeah. Animorphs are pretty badass, though.
Yeah. Like, don't go after the other kin. Like, they're just like weird people who think they have animals inside of them. Like, don't go after the Wiccans. They just want to like go sky clad and dance around a fire. Yeah,
which is basically what's going on. Light a couple like candles or whatever, and then
they want to celebrate May Day and circle around a maypole and like have some crystals around their house. Like, why do you gotta go after the Wiccans?
Well, and then what's really fun too is that we start getting a diverse array of individuals who practice magic. So we get druids calling in who are also talking shit on Wiccans. Like, there's just a lot going on the call-ins on this one.
Okay.
But I want to jump into a little bit of the evil things that she does, right?
That's very important, because I'm not really sure at what point the witch comes into play yet. It just sounds like she's banging dudes with wives.
She's like having a lot of sex.
Just having a lot of sex with husbands, and like also working around religious people. And I don't know if I consider that evil so much. I mean, it's not good, but it doesn't make you a witch.
So we'll jump into
all right.
The
give me
sex.
Some of the magic.
Here's a little bit more of the sex, and then we'll get into the truly evil stuff.
Sex sells, baby. Sex sells. Give it to me.
From Dale in Atlanta, the following. Art, I really admire your guest. She seems to have a sort of sexual magnetism, almost erotic. Is this also one of her entrapping characteristics?
Yes.
Dale is so turned on right now.
Oh, he's
like, I am into this chick.
I like this idea.
Magnetic.
Yeah.
Can she have my address?
Yes.
So the answer is yes. This is what she does.
Yes.
It is. I will, especially young virgins. I love to find a young guy out there, sway my magic upon him, place him under my spell, allure him with fantasy of sexual fulfillment.
So she's just a sex addict.
She's just collecting those V cards.
She's a sex addict and like not a good sex addict. All right, go.
So here's where we get to the really evil stuff, Chris. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm
she
ready.
Starts breaking it down.
I have been ready. I'm wondering when the witch comes in.
All right. Here it is.
Another one to advance Satan's cause is, like I said, I constantly bombard the Christian faith. I love, let me give you an example. I love calling the 700 Club telemarketers, the people who on their little prayer lines. I like giving them the time of day, and then believe you me, I do.
Calling 700 Club marketers, dude. The Pat Robertson, 85 years old. That's what makes her a witch.
Her evil on this earth is talking to telemarketers for too long.
Oh my! I take up their whole day. I will just sit there and talk to them and talk to them and talk to them. That's unbelievable, dude. This woman sucks.
She is interesting.
No, I mean, it goes to my theory that she's really just a troll. I mean, she's like a 90s troll. Like, if she was on the internet, she would be on Reddit and Twitter, just like trolling people the whole time. She would be on our Wicca. She would be on like our Christian, our Satan, just trolling people.
Yeah. Well, and so we start to get into some more sadder aspects of this story. There's a Wiccan who calls in who talks about how her mom was abusive. And Patsy kind of talks about how her son was abused by her former husband. And somehow she doesn't get into it, but her son died, like her child, at a very young age, which was pretty depressing.
Yeah, dude, that's where the trauma comes from, for sure.
Yeah, which is why I think that I don't know whether or not she is 100% a troll and she's like using this as a way of, I don't know, getting out whatever she needs to get out, or if that kind of made her a little wacky. And then she started going down this like weird path of like, well, I'm going to sleep around with people for Satan. And she's like, just not in a very stable place mentally. But I think that likely has something to do with what's going on right now.
No, definitely, dude. Yeah. Definitely some like PTSD manifesting itself in like some kind of, well, actually I'm going to be doing dark things now.
Yeah, exactly. So we're going to skip that portion because I don't think that's quite as enjoyable of a listen.
No, that's not fun.
Not really fun. The Satan worshiping stuff is a little more fun. So we have a caller who wants to sell his soul.
Wants to sell his soul. He's going to sell it to Harlot, or he wants to sell it to the devil.
He wants to sell it to the devil. He needs Harlot's help because he doesn't know how to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't know where to begin. Like, how much do I sell myself soul for?
To be fair, you want to make sure you're getting a good deal.
I need a good price.
It's like that's why you need a realtor, right? You got to make sure you're not missing anything. You
the devil, he will give you a golden violin, but you have to play him against it. And it's not a very good joke. Go play.
Boom.
It's hard for me to say. I'm at a point in my life where I could go either way. And I heard her at the beginning of the program say that she enjoys taking people to hell.
She did?
And Satan.
She did say that.
Right, to meet your master.
And he does the rest.
Right.
I can't take no one to hell. It's not in my
Well,
power.
You said that your job is to trick them and
to trick them and to lead them and to lead them astray.
Witchcraft and whatnot. Well, I'm at a point now that if I could make a deal with the devil for a life of prosperity and wealth, I'll go with you because I'm struggling day to day.
I'll go with you,
and I'm tired of it. And I watch my kids go without food, and I'm ready to go. Can you do that?
Uncalled for. That having your kids go without food is uncalled for.
Can you make a deal or?
Can I ask you a question? Do you drink a little bit, sir, when you have the opportunity?
I drink a whole lot.
Okay, I kind of figured so.
So this guy's having a bad time.
He's not doing well.
He's not doing well. And she said that she could help him, technically. Right?
Okay.
Because, I mean, if you think about this is a situation much like her family situation.
Right.
People are hungry. You give your soul to Satan, you get food.
You get food. Going back to the pioneer days.
So,
but we're in Antichrist Clinton's America.
Exactly. So, what can Patsy do for our guy here? Let's see what's up.
Go ahead.
Can you practice your witchcraft to send me these riches?
All I need, sir, and I'll tell you what, if there is any way that before you leave the air, Art Bell can get, and believe you me, I'm only up and up on this. If Mr. Bell would be so kind to do so, I will give you my phone number. You give me your phone number. We'll talk off the air, and we'll go from there. How about that? Would that be okay with you, sir?
Sounds good to me.
Well, I'm sure it sounds good to you, but I am going to intervene here, and I'm not going to put two people together for that purpose.
Okay, I understand your point, Mr. I'll tell you what I will do. I will connect with you.
Art has to shut this down.
Yeah, he's like, I don't know if I like the selling of souls idea over radio.
I think it's like, I think this is starting to get weird, guys.
Yeah, this is something is about to happen that I don't want to go on my radio show.
Yeah, so he has to shut that down, but she still has a response for it.
I'll tell you what I will do. I will connect with you, and I will approach my master, and I will do a lot of things here. You're going to begin to feel strange presence around you very, very soon.
You're going to contact me?
No, sir. I'm going to send you what you need.
So
I'm going to send you what you need.
You'll get what you need.
She's going to break up this man's family.
Probably.
That was what she was hoping to do.
Yeah.
No.
Right.
Okay.
When you feel the presence, when you feel that strange...
When should I expect this present?
In the very near future.
Where's my fucking money?
Promise me, in the very near future.
Are you talking weeks or months or?
Days.
Days. Well, Art, I'll let you know.
I'll call back, Art, let you know in a few days.
Well, and that's why I'm not convinced that guy wasn't a troll. I'm not. Because just the way that he was like, all right, how are you going to do it? When should I expect this? I'm going to call back and let you know if anything changes if I start seeing some fucking money. I feel like that was like a sort of like a test to see how she would react.
I mean, it kind of reminds me the episode where Mac's fat in Always Sunny in Philadelphia, and he goes and talks to the priest, and he's like, holy man, when should I expect to be skinny again?
Yeah.
And then he's like, I'll be back next week.
Yeah. It's very similar. It's very similar.
That's kind of the like, this is just a low IQ individual in a very bad spot.
Yeah, who's just having a bad time. I don't really know what's going on with him, man.
I'll sell my soul.
Yeah, I hope it worked out for him. Not the soul selling part, but hopefully something got figured out. But
would love to hear that if he actually called Art Bell. Would love to hear that.
If I find it, I'll report back to the team.
Report back to the team.
Back to the team. We're wrapping up the episode here. We got some parting words from Patsy that we'll jump into.
We've got very little time.
Art?
Yes.
Can I do something, please, before we go off the air? Please?
Oh, yes, yes.
One last thing I want to say is, hell, Satan,
I'll get that in again.
Great is his power. I understand the freedom of choice. I understand your position, Art. You're carrying out your destiny in this world. Hell, Satan, we're glad to have you. I'm glad to have you on the airways because it does give a sense of reality to things that are coming in the quickening and so on. But world, Satan exists. I exist.
It's an Art Bell thing.
Satan exists.
It's her kissing
evil
his ass.
Exists. I hope you Wiccans all don't do a damn thing, because the middle will be crushed. That way the real Armageddon can begin. Art, I would like to thank you for the time. Hell, Satan, great is his immortal power, the primordial son of God.
She's like 3 lines.
Well,
she repeats.
Good night, Harlot. Thank you for being here.
I'll take one more phone call if you will.
No, we're about out of time here.
Okay.
All right.
Good night, America, and Art. I would like to be calling around and just dropping in sometime and saying hi.
All right.
That'd be fine?
Take care.
Get the hell off my radio show, please, Harlot.
I love how she's like, I'd like to call back and check in. Is that fine? And he's like, take care.
Leave now.
That was what lost me right there at the end. It's like, you are clout chasing, lady.
Yeah, dude.
That's all
big
that is.
Big time. Dude, and like, honestly, not impressed at all, dude. Not impressed at all. Like, I was a mildly, I mean, looking back on it now, John Rhodes was better with his reptiles under the earth, dude, in the Hollow Earth.
She ranked below John Rhodes for you?
Below
Damn.
John Rhodes easy,
Dude.
because like legitimately, this is just a woman breaking up marriages. There's like nothing paranormal or like otherworldly or anything really strange about that. I mean, like, she deserves to be on like Jerry Springer, not Coast to Coast AM.
Well, yes. I mean, that's basically all she's doing. All she's doing in addition to that is saying Hail Satan a lot, and then also calling telemarketers.
Yeah.
To promote Satan's whatever on earth.
And I don't even think she's talking about Satan to the people at the 700 Club or the 800 Club or whatever the hell club it was. Pat Robertson's, church calling group where you gave him money and he would give you a prayer. Like, she's not even talking about Satan to those people. I bet she's just talking, right? Because she's like a lonely person who like a bad thing happened to, and like she's decided to like start this whole like fantasy world. I mean, it is kind of sad.
It is a little sad. And the thing about Art Bell's show too is that there are personalities who continue to call in. Like, there's one guy who says that he is from an alternate dimension. So he's constantly calling in and giving updates on the politics of his alternate dimension. Yeah.
Right.
Where like in Arizona, the Native American Party like won the governorship or something like that. And like they don't pay any taxes and they have flying cars.
Yeah.
Like shit like that. And he calls in and he gives updates constantly.
That's awesome.
I think she was trying to be one of those people.
She wants to be one of those people, right?
Yeah,
she wants, I'm Harlot the Witch, and we have Jason the Horse, and we have, Randy the ultra dimensional guy.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay.
So
yeah,
that's Harlot the Witch. Chris, 1 to 5 pentagrams. What do you rank her?
Dude, I hate doing it, but 1 pentagram, man. I mean, like, I would rather listen to some Wiccans talk about stuff. And if Harlot's listening to this right now, dude, I think Wiccans are more of a witch than you are, dude.
Damn,
like, you didn't give me any. She starts the whole thing off with like, I'm not actually doing magic here. Like, I'm not talking about crystal balls, and I'm not talking about making potions. And it's like, dude, I want the crystal balls. I want the potions. I want the naked sky-clad stuff going around, dancing around a bonfire. I want the maypole. Like, give me those things, dude. That's what a witch is. Don't call yourself a witch. I'm frustrated, dude. This was a frustrating one for me.
She took away all of Chris's fun toys.
You call yourself a witch and you don't do any of the witch stuff.
All that's left is scripture, which is exactly why people don't go to church, because it sucks.
Unbelievable.
So
she sold me down. She sold, can't even actually sell my soul over the radio, dude. Like, what kind of good witch what kind of witch are you, dude?
Lacking distinct amounts of power.
What kind of connection to Satan do you have, dude? Nothing. Nothing. Unimpressed.
Well, I'm going to give her 1 out of 5 as well. I think that she is or was, I don't know what happened to her because this was like 30-40 years ago, not doing great emotionally and probably just trying to get some clout over the radio.
Yeah,
is likely what was happening here. So yeah, 1 out of 5 pentagrams from Paul for sure.
Harlot the Witch, dude. Disappointed.
Well, that has been the show. Chris, thanks for joining me in the Art Bell archives.
Hey, dude, conspiracy all the time, every day. I'm living it, dude. Harlot the Witch did not give me the conspiracy that I come to crave.
We'll bring it back around on the next one. We'll get the conspiracies back for you. But this has been Coast to Coast PM, the #1 unofficial Coast to Coast AM podcast. My name is Paul, here with my brother Chris. Thank you for listening.
See y'all. Be conspiratorial. Put your tin hats on. Later.